you mentioned we all fish.
We all fish.
But we have that understanding of how it would be implemented. So, and then we understand the fisheries too.
Manager of materials.
Materials engineer.
Materials engineer.
Fisherman.
So yeah, I'm fisherman and materials engineer.
Bueno amigos, aquí estamos en una cosa que es realmente muy especial para nosotros, que es justamente visitar la fábrica 6 nuevamente. No se puede completar el tour que les muestra todas las partes de la construcción de las cañas, porque bueno, hay secretos constructivos actualmente con las últimas tecnologías, por lo tanto no se puede mostrar. Lo que sí vamos a hacer es tener una conversación con dos personas que son esencialmente la base de esta calidad de productos y esta tecnología. Bueno, así es que aquí estamos con Greist y Ken Perry, que son los diseñadores de materiales y son la base, la esencia de estas tecnologías y de la calidad de estos productos que produce Sage. Bueno, Steve, hello, how are you?
Well, it's good to have you back. I'm fine too, by the way.
It's great to see you back. I haven't seen you for, more than 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. But
it's a long time. I remember at that time we had a great conversation. I am lucky to be here, being able to talk with you, and and the people is going to be very happy to have your comments. My first question is, what is the right material for a fishing rod? What's your suggestion, your comment you can make me about that?
Well, as we look at what materials are possible to use, we always have our eyes on the understanding of the application, what could give us perhaps a better dynamic, or perhaps a weight advantage, and certainly strength. And so we're always looking at new material technology and or constructions, how we put it all together, how our rod designers will take that material and move it forward. But we always hope to find something that if a fly fisher will compare the old rod with a new idea, that he'd be able to feel the change and the advancement that have come with the new materials.
What I was impressed today is that it's not only the new material. It's something that you already mentioned. It's the combination of materials.
That's true, and sometimes I say there are 4 elements that really optimize our parts. One is picking good materials, the fibers and the resins that are unique. The second is to have a company that puts them together precisely. The best company in the world works for us. The third is to come up, to test the strength, the testing, to make sure it all functions, maybe the 5 elements. The other is a good design, so they can our designers can take the material, make it the best. But also a very important element is how we put it together, the execution on our production floor. They can do very precise assemblies and process it.
Well, and depending on the type of fishing, as when you make that combination of materials and patterns, are also thinking about what type of rod are you going to use, or what species.
Right, absolutely, and that's the collaboration that Ken and I have with the designers. So when a new material or idea comes, we test it, of course, and then they draw the line with the designers where this would have an application and what it could do for them. We need to plant the seed in their head to see, okay, well, this, I'm going to try it in maybe a saltwater specific or an ultralight trout rod or something in those applications. And sometimes it's the material or how we assemble it that can make the difference. But it's that collaboration between a concept here and then our designers to implement it.
It's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork.
And we all fish.
Yeah.
And so when we discover an advantage in the materials, the designers figure out how to put it and in what rod and in what application in that rod, so that we're able to optimize that particular experience.
So you mentioned another thing that is very important. You mentioned we all fish.
We all fish.
So that tells you a lot more, because all of you are fishermen. You know, I mean, working around and talking with one another. Some of you are experts. Some of you, all of you are basically fishermen. So you understanding of everything.
Yes. I would just add that sometimes between us in this department, we'll get an idea, a concept, and neither of us are very good rod designers. That's not our specialty, but we'll go ahead and design a rod and send it out to test to expert, all over the world. But then we'll give it to Paul or Peter, and they'll say, "What is this? What did you just give me?" And it's their push to make it better. They're the designers, but we can make something, take it out and fish it ourselves and try to break it or whatever. But we have that understanding of how it would be implemented. So, and then we understand the fisheries too.
When you came out, Sage has some, some steps or some technologies. When you present the technology, how long you usually work for that technology? The X technology or RA technology, how long does it take you? Because that is interesting, or it is something that you discover, or it's just something that you keep working and working. Because I saw you are here and you keep working on new materials constantly.
That's a very good, interesting question, because I don't wish this, that some people can go to a catalog and say, "Oh, I want this, I want that." We have some unique relationships in the industry, and so have been very close to our one of our suppliers in their research lab. And so sometimes we'll hear about a new material they're developing, and we have a connection where they'll say, "Well, in their lab, we can make some of this, and could we try it?" Or we collaborate sometimes. And they would bring it here, we could test it. So, but it hasn't, it hadn't been commercialized at the time. So we, several years, took about 3 years by the time we first tried it. In this case, sometimes it's faster, but in this case, we knew the fiber was being developed. When it became commercialized, we'd already had a chance to test it to see, well, this could have an application. And then when it had finally been commercialized, we were first in the line, first in the art industry to be able to use it because of that.
And to know where to use it.
Yeah, and where to use it, because that's exactly right. It's sort of that. It could take a couple of years, actually, at least.
Yeah, but it's an ongoing cycle, and so there's a target that there's something new every 3 years, but we're always learning. And so by being out there in the field fishing and looking for those opportunities where you need exceptional strength as well as the ability to cast, and we have this material and it matches for that section, that will find its way.
And then you have the enormous responsibility to make something that it make an improvement on well, for me, that impressed me, that you make an improvement on something that is already very good.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big challenge, right? And you see these shoulders.
I can tell you that.
But it's also an inspiration, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's why we do it. It's why we fish. There's always things to learn, and there's always boundaries to push. And we have the great palette here and over the years, Sage has delivered, something that's better. And there is more beyond that. and it's a matter of just bringing it out.
But what I mean, it's difficult because, you know, when you make something that's very good, it performs very well, you know, I am interested to know how you can make improvements, you know.
Fortunately, it comes from a number of areas. So one is the composite industry, where the material suppliers.
So that, in my opinion, this department is the base. I mean, is the basement.
That's where things start, of course. So, but the composite industry is advanced. They've become technologically big improvements. You know, materials there are more options and that opportunity. But you know, when we have such a small structure, you know, a tip that's, you know, very, very tiny, you know, where can you go? So some of the challenges are difficult, but you know, I think between Ken and I, we still have a vision of the opportunities, you know, and it's a lot of times it's a selection of several, might be 5 or 8 potentials, and one of those will rise to the top, you know, and like
I wonder what's going to be the next.
Okay, twist my arm. Who knows?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
It's been great, as always, talking with you. And now we have a new manager of materials.
Materials engineer.
Materials engineer.
Fisherman.
So I'm fisherman and materials engineer. But we're companies in good hands with a lot of technology experience.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again, too.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Bueno, amigos, acá terminamos de hablar con estos dos maestros de la construcción, la base, la esencia de Sage. Así es que Ken va a reemplazar en el futuro a Steve, así es que, bueno, muy pronto lo vamos a seguir viendo y conversando sobre esto que es tan importante para nosotros.